Hi, this is Bradley David Good, and this is what I ate in a week for November 29th. It's a Sunday in 2020. This is a long play, extended eating version of what I ate in a week. So I don't do many of the YouTube videos where I eat stuff live, but doing that this time. I'm having here lamb organs that are, I guess, almost 2 months old. They're really stinky, high meat basically, and big plate full of those. I don't know if I'll finish that. A big bowl of sauerkraut. It is 3 in the afternoon here, and I ate a lot yesterday, later at night than I usually do. So I haven't eaten today yet, and I'm still not really even that hungry. I just want to eat in the middle of the day because I don't want to eat later at night. And I'm kind of hungry. Also having a whole quart here of A2 cow's milk raw. I think I'll drink that whole thing. And an organic orange, navel variety, and Manuka honey. Probably have a little bit of that. So I'll eat and talk about what I've been eating. I like to eat with my hands. The hands is where the digestion starts. Your hands signal your brain what the food feels like, even picks up some of the bacteria and texture, and starts the process in your mouth. And it's fun. The sauerkraut is really refreshing. I really like it. So I've been eating probably about half of the meats and dairy that I was eating months ago. I'm going to summarize. Let me summarize my last few months. So I guess what it was like, I don't know, early August or something, I went really back on more raw primal foods, and over the summer for a couple months I was eating other stuff like some hamburger places and shakes and chocolate ice creams and cooked food more, a lot more like what do you call it, barbecue places and stuff like that. I wasn't really eating a lot of plants or anything, maybe some with the barbecue, like coleslaw and stuff. But I started feeling worse for sure. Sorry. And got back on track about August, I would say. This is a bone from a deer neck that I put in the crock pot with a little bit of vinegar for 3 days. And it's soft, and I'm just going to eat the bone like Derek Nance. So that's something I'm having with my high meat. So let's see, it's November, so August, maybe all of August. I can't remember the exact start date. September, November, so it's only been a few months. I've been kind of back on what I'm doing now. And then a few weeks ago, I had like this gallbladder issue. There's another video on that. Check that out if you want to hear about that. And so at that point, lowered the amount of fats and proteins and everything I was eating, and I bumped up a lot of the carbohydrates. So I ate a lot of rice last few weeks, a lot of rye bread, made my own rye bread. And you're seeing on these short videos basically everything I'm eating. The other meals that I'm eating might be a quick piece of rye bread or some rice with butter or something like that. Fruit, milk, but you're basically seeing everything I've been eating. I've been feeling really good. I'm walking a lot more. Last couple days walked really far for hours every day with some friends, and I was only used to walking twice a day to the park and back, which is about a mile, about 25 to 35 minutes, depending on how long I stop down there. So, feeling really good, recovered very quickly from all this walking, laid in the sun a lot today. And I'm feeling good about what I've been eating and how it's making me feel. I have been having a lot of the Manuka honey. This is my second little 1.1 pound jar, which I think is about 500 grams. Yeah, 500 grams. This is a different brand. I keep getting them off of Amazon. And I chose this brand because it was a little cheaper and had just as good reviews. It tastes good, and I feel really good from the Manuka honey. I read the science on it, and there are lots of big words used in there, but the bottom line is that the bees are eating different things than regular honey. It's thicker and creamier and tastes a lot better, and I think it has some really great qualities that make me feel awesome and probably are improving my health greatly. And I would really recommend you trying it out. It's very expensive, but I think it's worth it. You just have a little bit at a time and see how you feel. Manuka honey, okay, what else? I'm looking around. I've been having a lot of rye. I'm gonna switch now to a lot of potatoes. I've been having a lot of potatoes last couple days, white potatoes, and had cooked turkey the other day for Thanksgiving. It was very good. It was rotationally grazed from my favorite farm, which is Clearview Valley. So you can check that out. It's clearviewvalley.com. It might be clearviewvalleyfarm.com. They can ship anywhere. So we had this small turkey. It was really good. I like getting the small ones. I think they taste better, and you don't have all this leftover turkey, which is great, but I eat mostly raw meat, so I'm not really interested in all that cooked meat. Just once in a while, especially only fresh out of the oven, juicy. I don't really like it left over. These lamb organs are pretty hyped up, meaning lots of bacteria in them. I can feel it in my mouth. I'm doing my first Zoom meeting today, later on. I'm going to be doing them more often. I don't think I'm going to do the YouTube stream thing. I like joining other people's, but I don't really like the format that much, like with people who are participants where they can only type, chat. I want to do Zoom where it's required that if you're a participant that your video's on, so that I'm not going to record it or stream it or put it out there, so that we can say whatever we want, and there'll be less likelihood of trolls, I think, because if they got to put their video on, you know, we're not going to find these people coming in and telling us stuff to irritate us. I was watching a little bit of Meateor Man AFK or whatever his name is, the guy from Texas. That's a pretty good one. I watched him eat some really old meat they left out 125 days with maggots all in it. He was basically eating like maggots, steak-fed maggots. It was pretty gross, but he didn't get sick, and that was the point. You can leave meat out in the heat in Texas. He left it mostly in the shade, but 90 degree heat in the summer, and then ate it after 125 days with maggots. So, there you have it. So I was kind of chatting, back and forth with him in his comments section about high meat, and not really interested in maggot-filled meat, but I am getting more used to the meat having this smell. This morning I got all my meat out. It's in this video later. I'll show you that. I'll show you a tour of all my refrigerators and what I have going on. I have a lot of older meat now because I had this lamb slaughtered a while back and was hanging for a while in my meat locker down in the basement, and the cuts off that are awesome. It's aged perfectly in my opinion at this point. 1 to 2 months hanging, about 1 month hanging is really good in the meat locker, dry aging, and then put it in glass containers with a lot of air in this fridge for a week or 2 or 4. And then it kind of like moistens up because the inside is still moist, but the outside dries out when you dry age it. But then when you put it covered in the regular fridge, it kind of evens it all out. And when you eat it, it's a little bit high meat, a little bit more stinky bacteria. It's good that way. I like the combo. So I had all my meats out, and a lot of them are really stinky, and the whole house smelled. And to me, it smells good. But my wife was like, I'm gonna puke. Even though she does eat high meat and my aged meat. She loves the lamb. So she'll get used to it. Couple months, let's say last month, maybe October, beginning of October, I did a video about athlete's foot and foot fungus. And to update you on that, I'll do a better video on just that in maybe a month or two. But the quick update is that when I bumped up the fruit, I've been eating a lot more fruit still lately. Lots of apples, green and red, oranges, grapefruit, and dates. I get these really fresh organic dates from my health food store, and they're not like in a package. They're fresh and awesome. So I really like those. I think they're a good food if you can get them fresh. The ones in the packages are significantly worse tasting and dry. But the update on the foot fungus is when I switched after the gallbladder incident, when I switched to more fruits and rye and rice, the feet got worse for a period of a few days to a week. Then they got better again without changing my diet. And now they're kind of like in between. There's no cracking or any serious like flaking or anything, but they're not healed over and really healed or anything. But I'm on the right track with that. I feel good about it. And they're not getting worse from eating more of the fruits and the starches. So that. All right, I had an interruption there, phone call, a guy who's down the street, a neighbor, good neighbor of mine. He's helped me out a lot, and he's got a BMW X5, which is the SUV from 2004, and he was having trouble with the battery draining. So I'm good with diagnosing cars and researching fixes on the internet, and I'm pretty handy with fixing them a little bit here and there. So I offered to help him, and this is a service I'm going to be offering, and you'll learn more about. It's called Advanced Auto Troubleshooting. So he had spent already hundreds of dollars, and he got something replaced. He replaced his battery and maybe something else, and nobody could tell him the real answer. And he narrowed it down to one fuse to his radio so far was a problem, and somebody told him that from the mechanic. But the next step was to charge him $400 more, and they didn't know what they were going to find. So I did a little bit of research, and I found common problems, and I think I narrowed it down, and I'm just going to go down there and see, give him the deal. I'll give him a whole report and printouts and fuse box layouts of the 3 locations of fuses and relays in the car, and what I think he should try first, second, and third, and give him all this information. So it's like I do the research and I know where to search and find things on the internet to narrow this down, and I know enough about cars to figure it out, and I can help people out in a quick period of time so they don't have to spend time at their mechanics. And I'm also going to offer this service to mechanics, because a lot of the mechanics I know, they don't use the internet, and so they go through long troubleshooting procedures sometimes when it can easily be narrowed down, because a lot of the older cars, especially that are 15 years old or so, there are some really reliable ones, which this X5 is, by the way, from 2000 to 2006. Especially the 05 and the 06 are better something, maybe the transmission or something. I would get the 05, 06 BMW X5, and then there's some very common problems with them that are low budget, couple hundreds of dollars here and there. Nothing serious. Very good car, probably last hundreds of thousands of miles, maybe. Probably at least 200, maybe more. We'll see. But I'm going to tell the guy, also another benefit of me doing this research for him, is going to tell my neighbor down there that he has a good car and he should keep it because he was thinking about getting rid of it because he knows it has 150,000 miles on it. And, you know, some of these expensive luxury cars can just nickel and dime you like crazy, thousands of dollars here and there. So that's my story with that. So I have to actually kind of wrap this up. The orange is so good with the milk and the meat. It's just a great combination, especially after you're done with the high meat and the cultured milk. Just somehow just goes together. And a good navel orange is just one of the greatest things in the world. Now time for some Manuka honey. Let's get that going. See, it doesn't really run off the thing like the other honey does. It's very stable and thick. And the taste, just so strong and wonderful. And I'm going to probably keep buying one and eating one because it's so good. I think it's very healing. I haven't done a lot of research on it, and I'm probably not going to do much because I just know that it's the right thing to do. And I would recommend it. Checking it out. All right, I'm gonna finish my oranges, get down the road, see my friend Frank. Help him fix his car. This is my milk from last week. I pulled it out of the fridge. And this is the fresh milk from the farm this morning. Never chilled, straight out of the cow. I'm gonna drink that. When I got there today and went to the milk house, the father was churning butter in this big machine, and it was really yellow. And he said, I'm gonna have fresh buttermilk in 15 minutes. So I waited and I got a whole quart this size of buttermilk and drank it on the way home, and it made me feel awesome. I love it. I'm gonna do that more often, get buttermilk. I got beet kvass, 2 of these, one's over there. When that warms up, I'm gonna drink some of that. This is my pineapple, fermented pineapple juice, my second batch from this. That's my third batch. It has Gerolsteiner water in it. This is my onions that I'm making, fermented. And this is rice that I fried up with onions and some of the deer neck broth, meat and broth, bone broth that I made. I'm gonna eat that in a bowl with this milk and maybe have some pineapple juice. And I got some more butter from the farm. He said that the butter's really yellow. It's like spring because we haven't had any very cold weather. So the cows are still eating out of the field, the grass, fresh grass. And that's my story. Meat airing and rotation. Show you what I still have in my fridge. This is some lamb, aged a month, probably more. Some aged hanging dry and some aged in the refrigerator in glass containers. This is 1 week old grass-fed beef. This is a 1.5 month old lamb organs. So is that. That's what I'm having for my first meal today. These two things. This is my high meat. It's about 2 months old. It's liver from a cow. This is my deer backstrap. Some lamb fat from 2 months ago. Some more lamb aged hanging for a month and 3 weeks in the fridge, or 2. More organs from lamb, about 2 months old. Deer organs is heart. And what is that other one? I can't remember. It's not liver, something else. More lamb parts and more organs. There it is. I leave it out for maybe about an hour or 2, let it warm up, and I turn it over. I turn everything over with my hands and then put it back in the fridge. It smells up the house really nice. My fridge tour while the meat's out airing. Still have all this milk. This is Sunday. I have rye berries cooked, cherries, and the cheese I'm going to shred on top. This is the 7-year aged cheese. I have 2 lemons, half a grapefruit, half a lime, a lot of sauce and gravy or broth, meat broth from a deer neck. And this is gravy, I guess. Dog food. This is the deer neck and meat from the crock pot 3 days, and I'm feeding it to my dog, and I'm eating some of the bones, like this bone over here. It's really soft. I learned that from Derek Nance, and I just eat it because he said that's how he gets a lot of minerals. And some dog food in little bags made of beef and chicken from the farm. 4 butters. I'm going to get probably 8 more butters because it's still really good right now. And then it goes winter and they eat older hay. And right now they're eating out of the field still, and it's really yellow. I got 4 coconut creams, so I'll probably eat more of that. Put that up there so I remember it. This is cottage cheese. I have a cottage cheese back there also. Sauerkraut, more sauerkraut, older. Garlic and onion pickles. Horseradish, more pickles. My butter, mustard, mayo. Mustard. Whey. Still have beef tallow in here. And my starter for the fry. I might make a small beer out of that and do a video. I have coconut aminos too, which I haven't used lately, and maple syrup. And what is this back here? Some more sauerkraut. I'll probably mix those together. This is the meat locker tour. We have the aged 7-year wheel cheese. Probably get some more of that out and put it up in the fridge. And 2 quarters from a wild deer. It's looking good. So you see how it ages. This is probably 2 weeks, I think. And it's starting to get a little hard on the outside, and it's probably really nice and aged inside. Let's see the end here. And this is the front. probably perfect. I should cut some of this off today and eat it. Maybe tomorrow, because I have food out already today.